Welcome back, everyone. We are live both on Facebook as well as Clubhouse. We'll use the Clubhouse bridge for interactive discussions and questions, but we also have the video feed on Facebook Live. Welcome back to the next session of AI Tech Talk Live. We are Skive and Robometrics Machine. We specifically are working on building machines that feel. And yes, we are absolutely hiring. So if you are interested in, please feel free to write to us at jobs.skive.it or message us on LinkedIn, Facebook, or Clubhouse. Today we'll be talking about the importance of artificial intelligence in COVID-19 vaccine. We have 4 questions so far from the audience that I got from emails, but if you have more, please feel free to let us know. Just as a very quick reminder, we have been talking about artificial intelligence. We also talked about some of the advanced artificial intelligence techniques like deep learning, reinforcement learning. Secondly, we talked about artificial general intelligence and superintelligence. In the last couple of weeks, we have been focusing on semiconductor and artificial intelligence, how semiconductor is being morphed into artificial intelligence. So I will say that's the other way around, how AI is going into silicon. Today, we'll be talking about AI and COVID-19 vaccine. Our first question is, did AI play an important role in COVID-19 vaccination front? So it's specifically on whether AI was instrumental in getting a vaccine that usually takes 10 years to 1 year. And the answer is yes. It was not artificial intelligence alone, but some of the techniques used in artificial intelligence, ranging from machine learning to really analyzing a lot of data really fast in real time, was used to get the vaccine development, which usually takes 10 years to 1 year. A very specific data point here. Usually when we're talking about a vaccine, you need to analyze a lot of these signals, the efficacy signals from millions and millions of people to figure out whether the vaccine is working. And that is usually done in the clinical research phase or clinical trial phase. And that was one area where AI, artificial intelligence, was used. So Pfizer specifically used artificial intelligence to help find signals within the millions of data points in its 44,000 person study. And because you are able to analyze all these signals in real time, the vaccine candidate was out much faster. There were other techniques as well where AI played a role. For example, where should the vaccine be distributed, or what is the best way to distribute the vaccine? But very specifically on vaccine development, Pfizer vaccine was definitely enabled and powered by artificial intelligence. The second question is, which techniques or elements of AI are important for areas such as vaccine development and drug discovery? In artificial intelligence, specifically machine learning, you are able to analyze a lot of data in a very little amount of time, and more important, with much less human intervention. That makes it possible to get to the results much faster. And that is one technique, so machine learning, which is specifically on the vaccine development side. The second is, when we talk about the drug discovery, what is drug discovery? Drug discovery entails a lot of these molecules that's out there. Some are artificial, some which needs to be manufactured, and some are already there in the nature. And it becomes a pattern matching problem. So on the one hand, you have the universe of molecules that could be used to solve a problem. And on the second hand, you know that you need this specific molecule to kill that virus. For example, in COVID-19 virus, we very specifically knew what this molecule should look like. We also know what COVID-19 virus is and what could actually go against that virus. And now you have the ideal molecule that you need, and then you have the universe of molecules. Now it's just a question of doing a pattern matching. Now you can do it manually, but it'll take a lot of time. But a bit bigger and a better way is to actually use machine learning for that. And that's what a lot of the companies in the space are using. Pfizer, Moderna, and other vaccine manufacturers are also using some of these techniques for vaccine manufacturing. There are drug manufacturers as well, though, who are not now actually even using these drug discovery as a service, where you give them a specific molecule. They will tell you how to make that molecule or manufacture that molecule, or where is that molecule available in the world. And that makes it so easy to be able to create a drug or create a vaccine. Our next question is, will AI play an important role in COVID-19 going forward for vaccine candidates? We have seen how COVID-19 virus behaves. It mutates, and it's nothing new about COVID-19. Virus mutates. That's how they're built. It's the survival of the fittest, so they will mutate. Some of those mutations will die off, and some of them will not. We have seen that some of the mutation that stayed were much more efficient in spreading or much more dangerous. That's what viruses do. And we've also seen that some of these mutations are taken care of by vaccines like Pfizer or Moderna or AstraZeneca in that sense. But at the same time, we have mutations that may or may not work with the current vaccine. And that's where Pfizer and Moderna are already talking about these booster shots, which we will be taking in the next 8 to 12 months. It's similar to flu vaccine, where every year the manufacturer of these vaccines create a new flu vaccine that you need to use. What that means is that we should be able to analyze all these variants, create a molecule, and get it into production. The production aspect is to some extent taken care of, as we know that once a vaccine is manufactured and you get approval from the appropriate regulating body, we can create a new or the variant of that vaccine in a very little time. The important piece is, first of all, how do you know that there's a variant? It is spreading, and then once you know it, you manufacture it. The manufacturing part, as we just discussed, is that's where AI comes into picture, where you could come up with a molecule that will help in a very short amount of time. Actually, it's just a question of minutes. You are able to figure out what is the molecule. Everything else is actually manufacturing. The second part is, how do you know that this specific variant is prominent? And that is also where some of the real-time data mining techniques that's being powered by artificial intelligence, and more specifically machine learning techniques, ranging from deep learning to traditional machine learning techniques, that can be used and will be used. What it means is that things look great in the future, in the sense that we know how to make a vaccine. We know how to very, very fast collect the right amount of data from the right population using artificial intelligence and IT in general, and then come up with a new vaccine. The ball doesn't stop there. Now that we have been able to create something like a mRNA vaccine, which more or less is what is called an information molecule, where you are telling a molecule that go into the body and generate this sort of response or generate this molecule. Once you have that, you could pretty much cure any disease. So things look really bright. And that's where artificial intelligence is important. How do you be much more agile in figuring out what is needed, for what population it's needed, and then to do the clinical study where you are able to figure out the efficacy of the vaccine in a very short amount of time. And that brings us to our last question as well, which is, in general, what is the role of AI in drug discovery? The role of AI in general in drug discovery has not been new. It has been there for a very long time. And even if you look at mRNA vaccine or mRNA technique, it has been there for a very long time. The bottleneck was that it usually takes 10 years for a vaccine like this to be developed. And last year it was more or less a do or die situation where we have to accelerate the whole process. We don't have 10 years. We need to get the process down to 1 year. And we were successful in that. And congratulations to everyone, including very specifically vaccine manufacturers like Pfizer, Moderna, and AstraZeneca, as well as Johnson & Johnson, and many, many more. The important piece is, how can you accelerate a specific process in drug discovery? And that's where AI play a very important role, all the way from figuring out what molecule to use using artificial intelligence, to make sure you do enough simulation and then clinical study on the people, and more important, to collect the data in minute detail so that you know how the vaccine or how the drug is working in real time. And that's the power of artificial intelligence, where you can use data mining and machine learning techniques on this vast amount of drug discovery data, not just new data, but the data in the past that we have used in other vaccines or other situations, and very quickly figure out what is the right path. And these are some of the things artificial intelligence is great at, which is trying to figure out what is the right path based on vast amount of data. And here we're not even talking about advanced AI techniques like deep learning or reinforcement learning. I believe there is a need for that in the drug discovery as well, but general traditional machine learning techniques are enough as far as I can tell. I would say there would be a room for using something like deep learning to figure out which population should be inoculated with the vaccine, or when you're trying to prioritize a specific drug. That's where, just instead of just using a statistical method, which we have seen to have created problems, using something much more intelligent like deep learning, or even unsupervised learning or supervised learning, to figure out which is the right population to inoculate first, or where should this drug go first, which developing nations should get these drugs first. Obviously, there need to be some sort of human oversight on top of artificial intelligence for these sensitive areas. But I believe a combination of human and AI is the magic combination going forward. That's all for today. If you have any other questions on the subject, please feel free to write to me. My email is aditya@skive.it. I'm also on Facebook, LinkedIn, and I'd love to hear from you. As a reminder, we are hiring both on the engineering side and marketing. The details are on our LinkedIn, so I look forward to hearing from you all. Thank you. Have a nice day.